Hey everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me here today for some Bible journaling. I'm here in my John Scripture Journal, and I'm working through the Abundantly More devotion from Creative Retreat Kits. I'm going to be using some of the products from that kit. I'm going to be using this stamp set called Lucy, which is from Creative Retreats. It's actually sold out right now, but it will be restocked. I love this font and the size of this stamp set. I'm also going to be using this stamp set from Sweet and Sassy Stamps, and I love the variation between the big bold words and these small scripty words, the outline, and then the solid. So I'm going to be using the words grace here. I'm doing a mix and match with a couple of my favorite companies, and again, I'm in my John journal, and I've been working through this. I love using this journal. It has a whole page in between each text. And I'm here in John 1, verse 16, but I actually look a couple of verses before that. I'm also going to use this stamp set from the current Faith Art Box from Creative Retreat, and this one from last month. This one is sold out by itself, but you can get it as part of the collection, the Acts of Prayer collection. And then some of the Creative Retreat inks and some of the Faithfilled digitals from this month that I have cut out, printed on cardstock or sticker paper or clear sticker paper, and cut those out. I'm going to be creating this page, this background, and I was actually inspired by one of the patterned papers in the Faithfilled digitals. And if you'd like to see that entire process, I do have a video over on the Creative Retreat YouTube channel, and you could see how I did that whole page. All I did is I just swiped the ink with a baby wipe, and then I came in with that same color and splatter painted as well as highlighted my verses. So the colors that I used there were Cotton Candy, Rose Corsage, Plum Baroque, Waterfall Blue, Bluebird, Peacock Blue. I think I used Mermaid Teal in there, some Yield Yellow, some Golden Sunkist, and Mango Tango. I'll have all of those listed. I just wanted kind of a rainbow, blended rainbow look. But I thought it needed a little bit more bright splatters, so I pulled in some hot pink and red watercolor paint. And now I'm going to do some white splatters with some white acrylic paint, and this just really adds to that mixed media. So I'm using all kinds of media here in this project. Just wet some white acrylic paint and then splatter it with a wet paintbrush. And I love that look. I do hit that with my drying tool, my heat tool. And now I'm going to use this big grace stamp, and I'm going to use the same colors as what's on the page. So first I start with the bold, the solid stamp, and then I'm going to come in and follow that with the outline stamp in the same color. So I'm speeding this up a good bit because it is kind of a long process. Not too long, but I didn't want this video to last forever. So here I am in John 1, verse 14 through 16. 14 and 16 is what I focus on. But the verse says, "For from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace." Now, I did some word study using my Bible Hub app. I used some word study on this passage, and it really brought the meaning of this passage to light. If you want to see a video of me doing some verse mapping and showing how I do that in-depth Bible word study, then I will link that. It's a couple of videos ago that I released. And what was so powerful is the idea here. The word fullness, from his fullness, we're talking about Jesus. And you really need to look at verse 14 that said, "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory as of the Father, full of grace and truth." Full of grace and truth. That is the fullness. And for from his fullness we have all received. That word fullness means abundance, but it also means fulfillment and completion. Once Jesus came and completed his mission here on this earth and completed the work of salvation, we have received grace. Now, grace already existed from the beginning of time, especially since Adam and Eve sinned, but we received it. It was fulfilled in Jesus when he came. Okay, now I'm taking the word upon and I'm stamping that all the way down the page, just like I did with the word grace. And since I was messy over on the other page, I got some splotches there, I just went ahead and added some splattering of the same color, that orange. I'm using, this is just some packaging, the Creative Retreat. It's kind of a glossy bag, and I could just pick up the ink straight from it by wetting it. So I took my journaling card, this is from the Faithfilled Digitals for this month, and I ran it through my typewriter and typed up that verse. Now let me talk a little bit more about the rest of the verse. We have all received. Received is, it means take hold of, but it has a connotation of active, being active. We have actively received. So yes, God gives all of us grace. He gives all of humanity grace, but unless we actually receive it, then it's not applied to our lives. So we have all received grace upon grace. Now on screen here, I'm making a couple of labels, and this is some white sticker paper that I already had something printed on, but I love using those little edges, the white space, for things like this that I could just cut out and fill in. So I'm stamping a couple of the labels, and I'm going to use those. I'm going to come in and add my title with these stickers and a couple of other elements. I'm stamping there his fullness. Now let's talk about the words grace. For we have all received grace upon grace. And depending upon your translation that you're reading, it could be grace instead of grace. There are two different, well, it's the same word, but two different tenses of the word grace here. And again, I did this study using the Bible Hub app, but you could certainly use just a Strong's Concordance. On screen here, I laid out my word received, and I'm stamping it. Just a couple of tips. I like to stamp from the middle and out, or the back, not always from the front, and just whatever helps me get the proper spacing. So this first word, grace, its tense is a direct object, and the second word, grace, is possessive. Now, it's significant in this meaning because grace replaces grace, grace instead of grace. The direct object, Jesus, gives us that grace. We are the receivers of that grace. That is instead of us possessing that grace. Yes, we did possess grace before Jesus came and died on the cross, before the Word became flesh. We received it because it was given to us. We possessed it, but Jesus actively gave us that grace when he came to this earth and died on the cross. That's powerful. Okay, so here I stamped over on the right side of my page grace upon grace, but I felt like it got lost in that background, so I went and I stamped it on some white cardstock, just the larger word grace in the color and then the smaller scripty word grace over top it in black. I felt like that stood out better. Now I'm going to make a tab punch with my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch using that Mermaid scale, the fish scale paper. And this tag over here, this flag, I had printed on clear sticker sheet, so I'm using that. And now I'm going to build the rest of my title. So I kind of worked from the middle to the bottom, and now I'm going to work through the top. I'm using my alpha stickers from the Faith Art box to spell out, for from his fullness we have all received. And you can see I mixed the colors, and then I did it from the back, from the last letter to the front, kind of in Hebrew, like it would be done in Hebrew, but just to help me with my spacing. Now I'm adhering all these pieces down. And now I'm taking the tiny word Grace, which is from the Sweet and Sassy stamp set. And I'm going to stamp that up on my tag. And then use my date stamper. This is my Illustrated Faith date stamper. I'm checking my date because I'm a teacher, and during the summer my dates kind of all run together. And I put that in that label, and I'm cutting that out. I'm going to put that over on the opposite page. Now that clip up there, the Grace clip, I created using a button, and that you can see me create that in the Creative Retreat video over on their YouTube channel that I will have linked. And that is called Overflowing Grace. So I'm just finishing putting my elements up here. I'm going to write out the text reference on my journaling card, and I'll have some space to do some journaling on the flip side of this journaling card. I'm going to take my white gel pen and add some detailing to the stamped word received here. And then I'm pulling out my washi tape, and this one was from my stash. It's from the Vine collection a few months ago from Creative Retreat. I will have all of my products linked in the description box, so you can check those out if you're interested in buying any of those. They are affiliate, well, a lot of them are affiliate links, so it doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do get kind of like a commission if you use those links to do your purchasing. And here, this grain, this floral piece, is from the Abundantly More stamp set. And I'm just adding that a little bit here and there. It's not absolutely necessary, but it adds to that whole mixed media look. So that is my page. If you have any comments or questions, then leave them in the comment section and I'll check those and answer and respond. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out the product links if there's anything you want to get for yourself. And until next time, God bless. Bye-bye.